Okay, for 2.4, now we're on getting to know you. A little bit more information. We're going to be talking about your experience with language. So really, this is narrating experience with language. We're going to have a couple of videos to watch, and then we're going to also talk about how do you tell someone what languages you studied. Just to build off of the fact that you're studying ASL now, how do you tell someone I'm a student? So this is what our goal is. Your name. Did you grow up with, what languages did you grow up in the house with? Was it English, Spanish, French? And if there are other ones that you want to look up, I included in a previous unit the link. It's called Share the Sign. If you look up that, there's also an app. That's a good way of finding out international countries and country signs. Then we're going to look at time-wise. What did you study in high school? What are you or did you study in college? And then now, what are you studying or what are you using? So, now that you're all college students, so this may not necessarily apply, but if you're a returning student, if you're just doing this for fun and you already have been through college or got your an associate somewhere, there's all different backgrounds people could have. It doesn't really talk about if you were living somewhere else or say in the military and learning it. So we can find other ways of signing this. This is the most generic way that seems to apply. Then we'll also talk about levels of difficulty and how much you remember, and some starting to use a continuum to show I remember a lot or I don't remember much at all. So here's a bunch of vocab. Sign for remember is you're going to take your thumbs. One goes from the forehead to the thumb. It's kind of like you're putting a thumbtack in the memory or in the idea. So you're going to remember. I remember it. This oftentimes is for continue or keep maintain. So remember. And if you're nodding, I remember most. And this hand goes up. Most. I remember a lot. I remember most. Remember some. Cut off a little slice, right? Some. And if it's a tiny slice, some. Some. You can also have the so-so sign. I remember 50-50. Or remember poo, like tiny little bit. Remember, or forget. Imagine your memory is a whiteboard, and you just wipe it off. Forget. So forget. There's also forget. You could do all, A-L-L, all. Forgot all. Or remember none. Remember we used this for zero? I remember none. None. So those also can get in that mix. If you still speak it, still, it's two Y's, and it's like the line of time drawn in the sand keeps moving forward, right? I'm still talking. I still speak it. I still sign. Still speak French. And one more sign for all. Do it around the world kind of thing. All. So you go around the globe. All. All. Sign. Right? We've seen this before for sign language, or sign language. Sign. Speak. So the next part we're going to be looking at, the next set of vocab are how are you? How are you? Just a couple more responses to that. Fine. Fine. Okay. And oftentimes you'll see it, okay. Okay. Repeated. So. My grandma used to say, men's amends. Tired. So tired, you start with the fingertips together, and they touch your pectorals, I guess. Touch your chest, and then just show exhaustion. Don't go. Facial expression has to match. Sick. You're going to take your fives, right, and then drop the middle finger. Not like this, like this. Okay, so it's this, and then you're going to touch your dominant hand to your forehead to show inside your head you don't feel well, and then this is it's sort of around the sternum, but technically it's kind of supposed to be like the stomach, right? Oh, I'm sick. My head doesn't feel right. My gut doesn't feel right. I'm sick. And make your don't right. So facial expression has matched. Right. Then we get into time. So we've got grow up, grew up, and it's went from short to tall. Right, grew up. English. Remember, this is a sign for college. Both. Two into one. You put both into the cup, right? Both. Once we get to the actual dialogue, these will make a little bit more sense why they're in this order. High school. High school, I learn Spanish. No sign, though. Year. The sun and the earth go around each other, right? We won't get into the whole Galileo discussion, but blah, blah, blah. Copernicus, where are you? Okay, so 1 year, right? Year. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. College. Next set are easy and difficult. Okay, easy. So your passive hand is just kind of hanging out, fingers together, and the dominant hand brushes up against it. Easy. Hard is you take two little bunny frou-frous, so two X's, and hit them against each other. It's kind of like the sign for work, if you know that one. Hard. Sort of hard, or really hard. And then last, a couple of miscellaneous. How are you? Now, remember before we did still speaking, still. Now that timeline is right in front of us now. And then language, or you'll see it with an L. So that's the vocab. We went over, we did Spanish, French, English, sign language. Just a quick review. This is a sign for bored. Especially right now, this is pretty sitting at home doing nothing. Frustrated. Like the door slamming in your face. Frustrated. That won't be on the vocab for a couple units. How many? how many years, right? Cool. Then you remember how much. So it'd be not how many, right? How much? What amount of that language do you still remember? And once again, 100%. Italian. Little cross on the forehead, Italian. I always remember it for like Ash Wednesday. Grew up Catholic, so Ash Wednesday. So all. I remember it all. Most. It's almost like a match. Most. Remember some. Little bit. Cool. You'll see this for difficult too. Problem, difficult, hard, physics. Everything to do with difficulty usually uses the double X's. Problem, difficult, hard, physics. Electricity, electrical. Which then we'll put all these together. Carol will talk about her language background. Just watch her story and then answer the questions. Here, well, here are the answers. But it's the same thing that we were talking about up above. The main thing is are you able to see the answers in what she signs? Then 2 blank examples for you to fill in. Her story, and then another one for his. And then just a recap of the vocab, and then all of that. So that's all of the work for 2.5. It really is just talking about what languages, when you learned them, how much you remember, and whether it was easy or difficult. Those are the big things. Cool. So that is 2.4. As I say, 2 is just sort of now starting to get us ready for Unit 3. There's a lot of little things.